Good evening, everybody. Welcome. The IIM Indore Alumni Association is proud to present the second edition of IGNITE. The IIMI Alumni Association is the official alumni body acting as a bridge between the alumni, the students, and the institute, especially when it comes to matters towards our alma mater. The association has been active since October 2019. A total of 32 events have been conducted in these months, and we've reached over 7,000 alumni. More recently, our association has been registered as a Section 8 company, and the first board meeting was held this week. There are many more updates which you will receive in the following week, so stay tuned and make sure you're following us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and are part of the WhatsApp group for your respective city chapters. The Mumbai City chapter has brought together the event this evening, and in the past 12 months, we've done about 8 events with more than 4,000 alumni participating across all of them. We have 3 active WhatsApp groups with 900 plus alumni on those groups. And in addition to today's event, we also have next week Beasts of Dalal Street, which is a virtual stock exchange event, and we look forward to having most of you all participate in that event. We'll just show you a very small video to know more about that. Thank you. IGNITE stands for IIM Indore Growth Network for Interaction with the Entrepreneurs. It's an exclusive monthly platform that entrepreneurs from IIMI can leverage. They can leverage it to showcase their business, their products, and themselves to the alumni community, to facilitate networking amongst each other and the students and the institute, to facilitate interaction of the alumni startups with fellow alumni. IGNITE will be held on the second Saturday of each month. And this month we have a very special domain-specific panel where we have 2 entrepreneurs, Mr. Rohan Randery and Mr. Archit Kothari, who both work in the FMCG domain. Along with them, we have Professor Manoj Motiani, who's also a domain specialist, and to sort of moderate and get the most out of our speakers this evening. So I'm going to introduce each of them for you. But let's look at Rohan's product first. Rohan is the head of Fantail Foods LLP, engaged in the manufacturing and marketing of high protein snacks, which are retailed under the Tubbs brand. You just saw the video. Rohan has started building Tubbs as a FMCG retail brand since 2019. He's worked for a decade in retail and food MNCs before he started his own venture. He's handled key national accounts, category management, product development, and supply chain systems in leading retail chains like Reliance and FMCG companies like Mars. During his corporate stint, he built a strong domain expertise in biscuits, ready-to-cook, and chocolates categories. He's an electronics engineer and is from the PGP 2006 batch at IIM Indore. Welcome, Rohan. Pleasure to have you here this evening. Next, we have Archit. Let's look at Archit's brand Swad in a little more detail.
शादी हो या बर्थडे, पिकनिक हो या स्कूल, चाहे जितना भी खाओ स्वाद से बचाओ, स्वाद स्वाद स्वाद। आपकी मनपसंद हाजमा।
सोनू टीचर स्वीटी का भी यही मानना है कि
चाहे जितना भी खाओ
स्वाद से बचाओ,
स्वाद स्वाद स्वाद।
हर जोड़ी होती है थोड़ी खट्टी थोड़ी मीठी,
बिल्कुल स्वाद की तरह।
तो चाहे जितना भी खाओ स्वाद से बचाओ, स्वाद स्वाद स्वाद।
स्वाद कैंडी अब और नए फ्लेवर।
To choose one all-time favorite, then it has to be Swad. I don't think I've ever gotten sick of eating Swad. If I have to choose one sort of chatpata thing from childhood, then it has to be Swad toffee.
पिकनिक हो या स्कूल, चाहे जितना भी खाओ स्वाद से बचाओ, स्वाद स्वाद स्वाद।
Relationships with your veeres can be खट्टा और मीठा, चाहे जितना भी खाओ स्वाद से बचाओ,
स्वाद स्वाद स्वाद।
स्वाद अब और नए।
A lot of you are familiar with the brand Swad, and a lot more we'll learn from Archit this evening. Archit is a pass out from our 2017 IPM batch. He was a gold medalist during his tenure at IIM Indore. He's a young entrepreneur currently managing his family business, Panjon Limited. He heads marketing and innovation for the company. Panjon is a FMCG and Ayurvedic company established in 1977. Based out of Indore with iconic brands like Swad, we just saw that, Panjon, Percy, Kerry, the Aroma Factory, and many more. Archit manages marketing and new product innovation in the categories of confectionery, candy, mouth fresheners, breakfast cereals, incense sticks, papad, namkeen, and masalas. Welcome, Archit. Thanks a lot for joining us this evening.
Hi. Thanks for the nice intro.
Lastly, we have Professor Manoj Motiani, sir. A lot of you who are joining here and are from the younger batches might know him. He's an associate professor in the marketing domain at IIM Indore. He's one of the favorite professors on campus among students and teaches sales and marketing mantras to the students. They love the way Professor Motiani engages the whole class, and he has a great sense of humor. And I'm sure we'll get a glimpse of both of those traits in the session today. He's quite engaging when it comes to connecting with his students, and he encourages them to think critically and teaches important skills for real life situations. He's also a visiting faculty in several colleges and campuses, and he's also part of conducting courses for the faculty development programs, summer school, and management development programs at the various IIMs. So welcome here. Welcome this evening, Professor. Great to have you here with the panel today.
Great. First of all, I think good evening from our side. IIM Indore family would like to welcome you all. And I hope in this tough time, we all are safe and enjoying life. And I'm very, very special thankful to Rohan and Archit that they could take out time from the busy schedule to share with us about their experiences. So I'll be moderating this particular event. And the first question possibly which comes into my mind was, we taught you in B school, become a manager, enjoy your life, but suddenly you guys appear to have changed. So first question, which is common to both Rohan and Archit, both of you, what changed you? How you decided to go for this journey of being an entrepreneur, and that too in that competitive space of FMCG? What were ups and downs which you faced so far? So we'll start with you, Rohan.
Sure. Hi. Firstly, thanks for having us on this platform, and it's great to see this initiative. And especially the great rapport that people have with the professor, which we've seen over the last couple of days. So, in my introduction, Pranav mentioned that I started off in the retail business. So I joined Reliance Retail from campus, and I worked through several roles over there in starting with category, then in supply chain, and then back doing private label development for Reliance. So specifically, I had played a big part in starting out the noodles and soups business for Reliance in the private label. So that kind of gave me a good glimpse into, what it takes to launch a brand of your own. So that was always there. And then I thought, I should get experience on the other side, see how it is managing sales for a larger organization. So I moved into Mars, and where I was handling the national key accounts, and I was able to use my experience in retail over there. But what was common to both these places were that essentially both of these were startups, like Reliance Retail back then, as well as Mars Chocolates. And I kind of figured, with my personality, I like to work in places where there's something creative. And, I enjoy the creative process of starting off a new company, and I don't enjoy working, and when things are already set up. So I always had it in me to, start off something of my own. And in parallel to this, I've been an investor in the stock market and in the financial markets from the age of 18. So I kind of had, at the back of I already understood, how businesses operate, the financial part of it. So I thought, this is like kind of a confluence of all my experience in food, in retail, and my background in, managing, financial part of things. So I thought this is a great way to express whatever I've learned in the last few years.
Great. So Rohan still took some time. Archit, you got a gold medal, got a great job, and suddenly we found you are there back to the business. What happened?
Yeah. So, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So, first of all, thank you to the Alumcom for an amazing initiative. I'm sure many of us are going to come on this platform in the future. And yes, it's great to share my journey as an entrepreneur. So, I currently work as the director of Panjon Limited, which was founded in 1977 by my grandfather. So way back 42 years is when the company was found. And ever since I was a kid, it was always there at the back of my mind that I'm going to join the business. And so right after school, I got an offer to join the IPM program. So I spent 5 years on campus, and I was also a very devoted student of Manoj sir, and participated in a lot of competitions, learned a lot about industry. I interned with 5 organizations during my education at IIM Indore. I participated in a lot of clubs, committees, in college fests. So it has been a very good journey. And I was humbled actually at the end of 5 years when I was given the gold medal. So right after IIM Indore, I joined L'Oreal in Mumbai, and I was managing the hair care portfolio for L'Oreal Paris. And one of my projects involved launching a new hair care range called Extraordinary Clay with Deepika Padukone. So I think my L'Oreal journey gave me a lot of glimpse of the FMCG industry as a whole, when it comes to sourcing a product, to media planning or consumer inciting. How do you do channel negotiations? So it was a very good journey. And post L'Oreal, I joined our business. And currently, I manage the marketing and new product development and channel sales for the business. And yeah, so I'll tell you about our business. So we are based in Indore, headquartered in Indore, and our production facility is in Pithampur. And in terms of our business, the primary sources of business are domestic sales and exports. And in domestic sales, we have 3 divisions. That's GT, MT, and Ecom. So GT business is basically our kirana stores, retail outlets, medical shops, pan ki dukan. That is where our sales team goes. Then we have modern trade, which is, I think Rohan knows the area very well. And we are present in Walmarts, Reliance, DMarts. So that's the place where we are seeing a lot of good response. And the third division is e-commerce. I think given the current times, the highest growth in our business is coming from e-commerce. So we are present on Amazon, Big Basket, Flipkart, Amazon Fresh, Flipkart Fresh, a lot of channels like those. So that's about our business. And about our brands, I think Pranav showed the video in the beginning. So Swad has been a primary brand for us as a company. So it was started in the year 1980, and it has. So the idea behind Swad was my grandfather he used to tell me a lot of stories about how the brand got made, and it has Ayurvedic ingredients that added a lot of touch to that Indian palate of tasty candy with digestive properties. So that's how Swad was launched, and we have increased the portfolio, and we have spent a lot on a consumer awareness towards the brand. We have more flavors in the candy. We have introduced mouth fresheners in the brand Swad. That's pan mukhwas, you can say aam papad, anar dana, the entire range of mukhwas. We have now entered breakfast cereals as a category. We have entered papad as a category, and the response is overwhelming on some SKUs. So it's been a great journey. Another brand we have in our kitty is Panjon, in which we manufacture pharmaceutical tablets for headache and body ache. Then we have Panjon balm, we have Panjon inhaler. We make 5 flavors of cough drops. Then what else? Apart from that, we have a brand called the Aroma Factory, which is a very new brand in the kitty. We used to be prominent exporters of incense sticks, and now we introduced our international brand in India. We have an online exclusive brand called Aroma Factory. So they are charcoal-free incense sticks. And another brand we have is Percy. I think Manoj sir is very excited about the brand. So we relaunched Percy with breakfast cereals this year. And we have worked on a lot of innovative concepts on how the use case of breakfast cereals has been in India, and how we as a company are going to leverage Indian consumers moving to English breakfast. So that's about the brand. And yeah, looking forward to the session.
Great. So you both are there in the FMCG space. I mean, being an outsider, many decades ago, I worked in that sector. People think it's a very, very competitive sector, both in terms of the companies, the brand, the distribution, and people are fighting for that one single rupee, ready to do undercut, so many different challenges. And I think now the challenges have become bigger. In terms of distribution, this e-commerce is emerging, various ways to distribute the product. Suddenly, branding activities, which were pretty standardized in terms of advertisement, now they are going towards social media. So a lot of people will say, as a good well-wisher, that entrepreneurship means possibly do something in coding. Don't enter into such a competitive industry. So what are your views about this industry and how you actually face the challenge which this industry was offering? Rohan.
Okay, so I think that's very important question. I've been asked this many times before also, that why venture into something which is so competitive. But the fact is, like I worked with Mars chocolates, and back in the 1920s, Frank Mars actually hand dipped chocolates and he sold them to his neighbors. This is back in the 20s. And what he had was a great product, but that didn't really work out for him, and he failed, and then he started off again, and that's a long story. But the point is that he didn't have the distribution reach that e-commerce offers right now. So if you have a great product, e-commerce has kind of leveled the playing field, for everyone. So that's a huge opportunity. The second thing which is happening is people are reading their labels. People are more careful about what they consume. And the fact is that for a product like a plant-based product like mine, it is a super premium product, even by design. I'm not talking about the selling price. I'm just talking about the cost of the ingredients itself. It's so high that for a company which is large, this is always going to be under the radar. They are not going to be interested in a small niche premium brand. What they want to do is leverage their distribution, which Archit just mentioned a while back. So I think there's a good space for people who have good products. I mean, the important thing is to get a great product. That's the main thing. And after that, there are a lot of tools available today which weren't available, even 15 years earlier or 10 years earlier. So I think it's a great time to start a business as long as the product is good.
Great. So what is your view, Archit?
Yes, I think I'm in line with Rohan on this, but I think on the whole, it's a very promising industry because it is very comparatively less affected by the ups and downs in the market, given the current COVID situation also. I think FMCG is the only industry that's going to bounce back very fast. However, this year, I think Nielsen said that it's going to grow at 10%, but the growth is flat. There is no significant growth. But I think, yeah, I agree with Rohan. The online has grown much, much, much faster than the offline, even for us as a company. And I think the FMCG sector is moving towards omnipresence. So a consumer is going to an online store and also going to an offline store to, either look at products or, buy products or check prices online. So that's one major shift that has happened. And yes, as Rohan said, they are looking at labels. So even we have seen that we are moving our product portfolio to a more natural or a more healthy product portfolio, because that is where the consumer is targeting his purchases. And apart from that, I think the current FMCG, I think, got hit. Even we got hit. Our GT business got hit big time. But luckily, the e-commerce division had a very good response in this quarter, I would say. So that's how my take on FMCG is.
Okay, so one announcement, because I think Archit and Rohan think us as a great IIM Indore family. So in case if you have any questions, you can send it to us also. We can ask those questions. But I think Rohan and Archit, you both agree, right? IIM Indore is your family in some sense.
Yes,
You have to say yes. So
yes.
why don't you share your social media pages and some discounts coupon with us? See, now light has also come. So the biggest agenda for me has come out to be true. Can we hope some discounts from your side, both of you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
We'll work out something with Pranav after the call.
Okay, but there is a one, and also please share your social media pages so that we can follow how these brands are actually taking shape in future. I have a question which I think would be different for Rohan and Archit now. So Rohan, if I look into this particular snacking industry, especially when you talk about chips, the first perception which people will have in their mind is you're talking about an unhealthy snack, right? Filled with an air. Generally, the joke is if you buy a chips packet, it is majorly filled with air. Most people consider it to be unhealthy, and you have this big task of changing the perception itself about this category. So how tough or how what you are trying to do to convince everyone, and what are the challenges which you face? Because this category itself, few people have this notion that it's unhealthy, all filled with just air. The big joke is that when you talk about chips, you are buying 50 grams of chip and maybe 200 grams of air. So how you are beating this perception?
Right. So you're absolutely right, and that's the big opportunity again for us. Like the entire industry uses palm oil, for example, and whether it's baked, fried, vacuum fried, all the snacks in the industry, they are all made out of palm oil. And the problem with palm oil is that it has high saturated fat and low unsaturated fat. So, in short, saturated fat is the bad fat and the unsaturated fat is the good fat. So, and the reason is palm oil, okay, basically. So it doesn't matter which process you use. So some companies are trying to mislead, and they've been very successful at it in saying that baked, not fried, and that's the big thing which people take as a kind of confirmation that it's a healthy product. So actually what matters is the nutrient, and what we are using is, of course, plant, we are using pulses, and we have paired it with sunflower oil, which is low in saturated fat. But it's a challenge, like you say. There's a big perception, and probably, a larger company can do a much better job at it because they can go on air, come out with slogans which are, get fixed in consumers' minds. But ours is, we have to take one step at a time. At this moment, we're trying to educate. We were pre-corona sampling our products and trying to educate people. So we are doing it in a small way. And the other thing is, again, on e-commerce, not only do people buy, they also read a lot about these things. So we got to figure out, the right influencers and people like that who can, and our product package itself talks about, the benefits and things like that. But you're right, it is a challenge. And the first thing, snacks, there are two things. One part is people assume it is unhealthy. The second thing, it is extremely convenient. And more than anything else, because it's dry, it can be consumed on the go. So that's a big advantage of the snacking category. And with the busy lifestyle you see, the snacking category overall is growing at over 20%. So for a small guy like me, it's like, there's a huge runway. I don't need to worry about the size of the market and stuff at this stage.
But Rohan, you have made my life difficult. I used to sell soaps, and soaps are made up of palm oil. And today you are telling me most of the snacks which we are eating are also made up of palm oil. Great. Yeah. But I think the educating the customer, as you're saying, is really a big challenge. But yes, if you have a great product, you are saying that the story is something which you are the one who has to make sure that the story should reach to a customer. But Archit, in your case, the story is a little different, right? I remember when Archit was doing a project with me, and he came up. It was his birthday, and he came up with a pack of Swad. I was not aware that Archit has any connection with the Swad, and I still clearly remember, boss, from where you have got these toffees. You might don't know that these were our favorite toffees in our childhood. This and Percy, and after 5 minutes of silence, he, with his big smile, told me that, sir, I actually own that brand. I still remember that scene. So a brand which had a big legacy value, at least when I was young, possibly very, very extraordinary popular brand. People still know the name. And I don't know if you have seen, but there are counterfeits of Swad, which are very popular in North India. For example, Swadi, which is still popular, at least few years back. Your job when it was, you started this thing to revitalize that brand, to make it back to that national level image, to encash that particular image which people already have there in their heart rather than mind. What was the challenge, Archit, which you faced?
Right. So it's a very relevant question, and it's an important task for us as entrepreneurs in an organization to grow the brand that gets most of the revenue. So I think, yeah, as you said, so when I joined the business, our primary goal was to increase distribution, because everybody has been wanting to know where is it available back, because the focus, I think, after I joined has been towards three primary things. One has been to increase the distribution of Swad as a brand. Second is to increase the product range and the offerings in the brand, so that it is easier when a sales guy goes to a shop. He doesn't have to just sell a 1 rupee product, but he also has a range of portfolio of Swad, that this is the brand and these are the products. What all would you like to sell from your shop? So that's the product portfolio. And I think third, we have started making a lot of data driven decisions. So I think, yeah, as Rohan said, we have a lot of tools to track who exactly is the consumer. We are doing very targeted advertising these days. We are endorsing it through a lot of known faces in the Bollywood world. So it has helped us get that momentum back, and we are on that journey. And hopefully in the next 5 years, as our targets are planned, we'll be there where we want to be. And yeah, but I think one major step has been that all our decisions have now moved towards being data driven, whether it's market share analysis or the customer data or the app that we have for our sales team. So there's an app for every retailer that has our stock. And I think about the counterfeiting, which you said, I think that's where our legal department has always been very active. And so there are some things that are out of our control. Even if we stop a factory, we have all legal cases proceedings, and we win that case. Some people just start and they rename it and then some tweak. I think it's with every national brand. So you will see a lot of counterfeit products for L'Oreal or Dairy Milk also, for that matter. But we take it on the other side. We say that if the original is present, why would one prefer the duplicate? So anyways, but I think consumers are very loyal to the taste of flavor of Swad, and people make out that it's a fake product and it just doesn't match the old same taste. So I think that's where we as a brand leverage it.
So Rohan, when you decided that you want to become an entrepreneur, what was the reaction from your batchmates? Because many times I'm pretty sure few of your batchmates would say, "Arey yaar, chodna." Yeah, I mean, life is going fine. You are already doing good. Already have experience on the board. Why to start this wheel again? Did you face these type of criticism or possibly concerns from your batchmate, your family? And what was the right answer which you gave so that they all encourage you to take this plunge?
So, see, I think, my batchmates who knew me really well knew from the start that I'll do something of my own. Like, I was just biding my time, making sure I have a good financial safety net behind me, so that I don't have to worry about investing in my business. So I don't think, and for that matter, this is the second company, by the way, which I've started. So along with a batchmate, I've started another fashion accessories brand called Pink Flamingo, which kind of gave me experience into the whole e-commerce space. So yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone was surprised that I started a business.
Okay, good. At least from your side, everyone was supporting you. Archit, for you, personal challenge. I mean, sorry to say, but if you're working with Deepika Padukone, people will say, okay, let us take one more year, right? Before you can anytime come back. Why you just want to come back at the right time? I mean, you are doing pretty good in L'Oreal. Then this thought came, maybe I should spend one more year, see more processes, and then come back. How you decide that maybe it's the right time?
Yeah. So yeah, so when I was at L'Oreal, I think yes, because it's a big organization, there were a lot of processes that I was learning. There were certain set rules. I had a certain KRA and KPI that I had to fulfill, being in the brand team. So there was definitely a shift that I wanted, but better late than never when I felt that it's the right time. And because my elder brother was also back from Canada, and we both thought that we should both enter the business together. And so my brother handles the production and I handle the marketing, sales, and the new product development. So that's how we both decided that it's time. And I was like, I've had my share of stint with L'Oreal. But yeah, I think one major difference is when you're handling your own business and when you want to grow a brand that is not like L'Oreal is a known brand in the beauty space, and we are trying to make Swad and our other brands very big in the categories. So you have to take care of a lot of aspects of business, whether it's hiring the right person or the factory production capacity or your cash flow. I'm sure Rohan must be in the same boat as mine when it comes to managing everything with everyone. So that's one. And I think weekends are when we are most busy. So I don't know, my college friends call me and say कि भाई सैटरडे संडे है आज तो फ्री होगा. आई एम लाइक यार आज ही सबसे ज्यादा काम होता है because that is when we are either discussing an idea or planning big changes in the business flows. So yeah, but I think the best part, I don't know if I'd like to quote my father, so he always says that तुम बिजनेस कर रहे हो तो तुम्हारे पास मतलब हिंदी में बोलता हूँ तो तुम्हारे पास वो मौका है एंड इट्स योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कि तुम लोगों का भला कर सकते हो. मतलब when you grow as a company, your employees, your staff will grow, and in turn your customers will also benefit. So it is not just a medium to make money for the business, but it is also a responsibility as an entrepreneur कि आप सबको आगे बढ़ाओ. So everybody grows. So if my employee grows, his family also grows because of his growth. So I think that's what drives कि भाई हाँ, it's our own business and every morning we are charged up. So that's the best part, I think.
Okay, from this business, I'll take a little bit diversion for a few minutes. You both attended the college in two different eras. So maybe your answers would be very different about it. So, but the question I'll keep the same. Two things which you thought which are very useful in the institute, two things which you thought maybe not so useful, and possibly because you are representing an alumni which we should have changed, possibly it could have made the life much more useful. So Rohan, what do you think?
It's, clearly we both will have different perspectives. It's been a while since we passed out. But I think, the best thing on campus is the connections that you make with people. And the second is it's a time which you, have completely to yourself, where you can actually develop, you can spend a lot of time to kind of think without any responsibility, to develop your mind, to think about what your real interest areas are. And I think people get bogged down on campus with this whole placement bit. I think that it's overplayed on campuses. Even in our time, it was the same. It's probably the same, probably got worse. I don't know now. But people worry too much about, placements and choosing the right job. I mean, when you're starting off your career, it doesn't matter what you join. I mean, you're going to learn something everywhere. I think people should focus more on, developing great friendships, building connections with good professors, and focusing on learning stuff, and not worry too much about their first pay. It's barely gonna matter. I mean, if I was paid like 50% of what I was paid in my first job, I don't think it would make any difference to me.
Okay, so two things: make good connection, use the time for the best. Two things possibly which we could avoid is possibly the rush toward the placement, which somehow spoils both relationships and learning. What about you, Archit, sir? Two things which you liked and two things which you thought could have been better.
Yes. I think one I agree with Rohan is कि don't worry about placements. Job सबका लगेगा, and it really doesn't matter कि आपका first job कहाँ लग रहा है, कितने का लग रहा है. You will eventually, everybody will get placed in life. So I think that's 100% कि don't worry about placements. I think second is a little IPM perspective on IIM Indore. I think I would suggest a lot of IPM students to do a lot of industry, whether it's internship or interaction or project, but a lot of industry connect if you want to, get into entrepreneurship or in a certain domain. So industry interaction is my second thing. Third, I think, is keep in touch with profs like Manoj sir, who have been mentors to a lot of people like us. So stay in touch. I think one thing which I think that my IIM Indore has been a very important factor is, so like Rohan, I connect to a lot of people at a lot of different multinationals, whether it's Aditya Birla or Reliance or Amazon or Flipkart, and there is an alum there. And when I say I'm also from IIM Indore, there is a certain instant connect. I don't know, it's an instant connect that builds, and you feel like, okay, ye mera hi banda hai. So that's, I think, where our alum base, and I think, yeah, enjoy your time on campus, make good friendships, and that's what.
Okay, but one correction, सबका ही लगेगा, don't worry, right? Maybe placement or in life, सबका ही लगेगा. So we don't need to worry. I think we all are at least on same page. And as a prof, I don't endorse the view about placement coordinator. I hope there's no placement guy in this room. Rohan, the situation is same. Like 2006, we can't say anything great about placement. So we'll hold that idea. But now, given the situation, I'm sure before this whole COVID thing was there, you had a particular plan possibly for your organization. Things have changed dramatically for everyone, and I'm sure even for your companies. So where do you see yourself? What is your plan in next 5 years? Some goals, targets which you have kept for your organization. So we'll start with Rohan.
So the thing is, yeah, COVID has changed a lot of our plans. We were in the process of rolling out products for vending machines and for schools. Okay, and we had to put that on the back burner because of the situation. So, I mean, for us, see, the thing is, we have made a great product. We have a good proprietary process in place. We manufacture our own products, and we have a good brand, at least the look and feel of the brand, and ultimately it's like a brand is basically a shortcut, right? Where people remember that our tubs hai, so it must be healthy. So we are building the foundation right now, and where it goes from here depends on a lot of factors. It's very difficult to have like a long-term goal, but in the short term, of course, it is to penetrate like the Western India and the key cities in terms of the supermarket chains. Because like I said, ours is a premium product by design. So we are not targeting every GT store in the country. So we are looking at, appointing distributors in many of these main cities. We're looking at expanding our presence on e-commerce. And we're looking at, these alternate channels once things resume from COVID. So, I mean, that's the endeavor right now, but things are very, very challenging, like you rightly said. So what happened, for example, is that during the COVID period, like the initial lockdown and stuff, people used to come into stores with a list, right? So they would have your Maggi noodles and atta, Ashirwad atta and all on a list, and they would just quickly buy those and run back. And unfortunately for me, ours is an impulse product. So no one would really discover it in the stores. So our distribution actually fell, during that period. I mean, the stores which continued selling did well because people were also buying more of the product. And so what we did, instead of the vending machine pack, which we were thinking of coming out with, because of the change in consumer behavior, we launched a larger pack. So which also addresses your question, around a lot of hawa, which is required to protect the chips. So it's nitrogen flushed. So we launched a larger pack because people are making lesser number of trips to the stores and they want to stock up quickly on products. So we launched larger packs instead of, the smaller packs. Being a small organization, we're able to quickly adapt. We could just decide it over a weekend, and in 2 weeks we could have a new packing out in the market. So that helps. I mean, but that's how we had to adapt during this situation.
Great. So Archit, what is your plan for the next 5 years, or possibly 5 years? I think is now a too big time. Maybe 1 or 2 years. Some goals which you have kept in your mind.
Yes. I think, yeah. So COVID has changed a lot of plans for a lot of players. For us as a company, the long-term goal still remains the same, that in the 5 years, we plan to touch our benchmark of 500 crores. Current short-term plans and pre-COVID changes that we did in the business, I think it is, again, yes, to increase our online presence, have the right product mix, because as Rohan said, people are going to the shops and just purchasing essential items. So our next strategy is to move towards a lot of essential products. So I think Diwali is when we are launching Swad Masale. That's an entire range of household spices mix, and we are also launching seasonings. That's the pizza and oreganos and basils. So that's where the work is going on right now. So yes, increase the product portfolio and increase our presence online and offline. That's our short-term goal in the COVID scenario. I think one good thing what we learned from COVID is that we've started using our supply chain, because we have distributors in a lot of big cities and states, and we have the super stockist model of distribution in GT. So we are trying to merge our online distribution to offline, because an online consumer now is just he's ready to pay for same day deliveries, and he's becoming member for Prime memberships or BB Star. So which is why we are moving our supply chain to the exact city where he wants the product at home. So that is where we are going to move as a company. And yeah, good days ahead. I'm sure COVID will end and plans will go as per strategy.
Okay, so Rohan, this is a question which somebody has asked specifically from you. What do you think? Who is your real competitor? I mean, what do you think? Who would be your direct competition? You would like to say these are these global brands, TBH, Grease Snacks, whom you consider as your competition? Maybe one of them or none of them.
So at an overall level, it's the entire snacking space, right? But see, the thing is, our product is quite unique in that we actually have a lot of nutritional value. So I would say that, I mean, something even like within the snacking category, of course, we place our product right next to a snacking in the snacking category. So in terms of that, it's of course all these snacks like TBH would be it's a vegetable snack which is priced much higher than ours per gram, but we have superior nutritional properties, so that's definitely a target competitor for us. But at the end of the day, it's like we will educate people slowly about it, but we are delivering more protein per rupee than Threptin. Okay, so like Threptin's like the benchmark for protein. And even Complan, like we deliver more protein than Complan. We deliver more protein than a lot of products which people assume are healthy. So I think we will take it slowly. First we'll start off small with targeting the other premium snacks, and later as we grow on, we will try to spread our messaging to other protein products that people consume.
So I have also got a question specifically for Archit. So Archit, rather two back-to-back questions have been asked from you. First thing is how you divide your time between strategic and operational work. You have to plan because there are so many new products are in pipeline. Plus, I think you are also going for automation of your distribution. How you basically try to balance time between these two activities?
I think it's a good question, but I think for every entrepreneur or everyone who is trying to build their own work, most of the time goes in operational work. So most of my time also goes in day-to-day management with all the divisions in business. But if I tell you how much of it goes to strategy, I think weekends are mostly strategy, when we, whether as a family or our business heads, is when we sit, or after office, after 8 o'clock. Like even tonight we have a meeting at 8 when everybody is collecting and discussing the next launch. So I think strategy gets the time when there is no disturbance in your cabin, and operational work is the whole time. Monday to Saturday half day is operational. Yeah, that's how I think I put it.
Okay, I have one question that I'll ask first, and then we'll also go to the list of the questions which are there. I think everyone who start their career as a MT, management trainee, or now because you are alumni, this, it's also called MT, EMPTY, before they get their first shock of the life. Life has changed after coming out of the B school. So do you remember any moment when you felt, no boss, life is not same as possibly it was taught in my B school? So we'll start with Rohan. Some moment which made you realize, okay, boss, the world doesn't work like a B school.
No, I think that it's of course very different. You're cocooned in this I on campus, and it's totally different. I mean, I can't point out any moment as such, but I think we started, sleeping during the nights once we started living off campus. So that's probably one major moment, but I can't point out any particular.
No shock which you
No,
received.
there
The
was no
journey was
shock.
smooth.
I mean, yeah.
Great. What about you, Archit? Any shock which you received after finishing your so-called graduation?
Uh, I think one shock, yeah, but so when I was at L'Oreal, and I think I was doing the marketing role, and then I was moved to the sales role. So I was in Calcutta, and I had my sales target, and it was month end. So it's crazy time. I think everyone knows कि month end कैसा होता है. So I was below my target. I'll be frank, okay. So that month I was below because there were a lot of factors. मतलब, so it was a very very different market, Calcutta market, and that bashing I got one night from my RSM, and I actually felt that भाई साहब ये दुनिया तो बहुत अलग है सीधे target से मतलब है. So I think that is when I woke up that okay, sales life is you have to work on numbers. But yeah, apart from that, I think it is, yeah, I think thoda to change hota hai. Yes, I think sleep, I started sleeping after campus. I think that's when I realized I can sleep. I started eating more, so I gained a little weight. So yeah.
Great. So one question which is common for both of you. Somebody asked, you both seem to launch a lot of new products, right? Parallelly, you have to work on existing product also. So how you are deciding a trade-off, whether you would like to diversify into more and more range, or possibly spend more time, energy to build possibly a specific product which you have made. So how you are deciding that? What is going on in your mind? Because the challenge is, I think I'll start with the Rohan. You can come up with new flavors. Parallelly, you also have a task to make sure the trials for a particular flavor increase. So how you are planning this diversification versus focusing on single product?
It's a very pertinent question, in FMCG, because you have to keep your supply chain efficient, right? You can't work with old inventory. We are working with a 6-month shelf life product. So we have a lot of ideas right now floating around, and at this moment the priority is to increase distribution. So we will work on parallelly on some new product sizes, on even launching a couple of new flavors around the bases which are giving us more traction. So we have 3 bases: rajma, chickpeas, and moong, and we have seen more traction towards the chickpeas and the rajma variants. So we will launch variants of those initially, but we're going to stick to this format. Chips, as a format works very well for children and for adults at the moment.
Great. Archit, what about you, sir?
Sir, आप मुझे sir मत बोलो. Okay, so it's a very relevant question, and I think I juggle with it almost every day. But I think what we have done as an organization, we have teams in house. There's one team which is working on new product development, and there's one team that's working on the existing portfolio of products. So for instance, when we increased flavors in Swad, we were like, Swad is what everybody knows, but we need to have more variants because the market is innovating. There is competition. There is a lot of innovation in the category. Even a 1 rupee candy is having a lot of innovation. So we came up with new flavors in the category, and we launched Swad, Kacha Aam, Imli, Lemon, Guava. Then so how we decide on what category we want to enter is, first we look at our existing distribution network and what product will support our sales team and support our online business. So whenever we come up with a new product, so there's one team which is just, so they work directly under me. So they are just looking at products online and offline, what is coming, what is not coming, what can fit in our capacity of production, what is it that we can source from someone and repackage. So that's the team that works on new product development, and on the increasing the current portfolio and expanding its reach, building services around the same product is what another team works on. And yeah, I think that's because innovation is the new future. So I don't know so we were exporting agarbattis, I told you. So the concept behind the brand Aroma Factory developed because when people buy agarbattis, they buy a box or they buy a packet, they cut it and they have to keep it somewhere. So our product is an innovative bottle that has a refillable bottle. So you can put any brand's agarbatti once you finish ours, But the best part is our agarbattis are charcoal free. So the aroma factory, I'm sure you guys can try, and I'll put that discount code also for all our IIM Indore alum. So they are charcoal free and they come in 2 fragrances. So one is the traditional chandan, kesar, gulab. The other set of fragrances are room fresheners that act as chocolate, pineapple, strawberry, green apple. So that's the set of fragrances we built. So that's an innovative concept. And I think that some products, so not every product you launch will be successful is what so if we launch 20, 3 will be your best sellers. The others will just boost you to get that product range. So I think that has been a major decision for us when it comes to either expanding a portfolio or entering new category.
So, Rohan and Archit, you both have a very good social media presence, and also I think being a new age entrepreneur in the FMCG space, you are spending time, energy in managing these digital footprints. But I think one risk, which possibly as an individual or as a company, which we face is that sometimes these digital platforms are too open, right? People can come and criticize and possibly maybe can write something which you don't like. So managing these digital footprints is a bigger challenge because it's a two-way thing. And specifically for a brand like Rohan, which is building now one by one, talking about health, one crazy guy can come and write something, or possibly with Archit also, somebody didn't write and have this two-way communication. So how you plan, or at least how you vision, how you'll manage this thing so that possibly in terms of maintaining your image, whatever you want as a position, you are able to secure it. Some steps which you are taking consciously.
I think it's a really important channel to take feedback, right? So if there is genuine feedback where we need to actually, or we get some idea to actually improve our product, we are very happy to take it on board. And if, the point is if some person writes something random, I mean, you have to ignore it. What can you do? I think it's a thing which, probably Archit or some established brand has to be careful about. For us, any kind of mileage is great right now.
Okay, great. What about you, Archit?
So, sir, yes, I think online has leveraged and given a lot of power to consumers also. And for us also, in fact, you get a lot of feedback on your product. So, yes, I think Rohan sahi bol rahe hain ki sometimes you just have to ignore. Sometimes it just has to be a thank you for your feedback, sir. But we make it a point that we reply to your comment if you post anything on our social media. And I think when it comes to online purchases, a big tool is that feedback. Like on Amazon, you can write your reviews that you didn't like it, you like it. So I think we take it very seriously. I'm sure Rohan also does. So it helps you develop your own product. You can always innovate and come up with a better flavor or a packaging or something. So customer feedback has always been important. Or in this data-driven society, I think that's the new future. Everyone can just say publicly that this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is the bad service, the delivery was not on time, the package was torn when it got delivered. So a lot of feedback is coming, and if it is a significant feedback and we can make changes, then we try our best to make changes.
Oh, Archit, can I ask you a tough question? Right, as your prof, suppose hypothetically on your Facebook page you find a post, right, your old ad with Pooja Bhatt and somebody adds Mahesh Bhatt and put Swad. This is today we are in a wave of boycotting products. Don't eat Swad because Pooja Bhatt at least at one point of time was talking about Swad. So will it make you happy, sad, or maybe indifferent?
So I think publicity is publicity. So there will be a lot of publicity around it. What we redo as a brand, I think थोड़ा सा PR वालों के साथ बात करके आंसर देखना पड़ेगा. But I think बहुत कुछ होता है. मतलब we also have seen a lot of people compare and come up with analogies, and a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia with the brand. So connect बहुत होता है. बहुत सारी free publicity बिल्कुल मिलती है. I think that's one added benefit when it's an old brand and people know your product. But उसके साथ थोड़ी responsibility भी आ जाती है क्योंकि आपको you have to live up to the name that has been built. So that's how I'll put it.
So I think again a common question. Rohan, couple of our alumni is asking about when you talk about health, specifically people are concerned about health and possibly snacks. One target or possibly one set of people in which I think many of alumni has given the same question are kids, right? They want to have snacks, and possibly health is something about which parents are very, very cautious. So are you planning to come up something specifically for kids?
So to be honest, this whole idea of tubs chips came out from my own children. Okay, I learned that especially vegetarian children, they don't get enough protein in their diet. It's like a problem, a big problem with India, because a big part of our population is vegetarian. And seriously, do you expect like your 5-year-old to have like a bowl of dal? So our product is essentially like eating like if you have a bag of our tubs chips, the smaller pack, it's like eating 1.5 bowl of sprouts. And the kids absolutely love our products. So they are, when you ask about having like tasting sessions, I look at my kids and their friends as the final authority when it comes to whether it works for them or not. And they absolutely love 3 or 4 of our flavors. So of course the lime and chili might be a little spicy, but the other products are great for children. And in fact, on our initial packaging, we thought we will target mothers to give these high protein snacks to their children. And we had put a small label on it that it's perfect for lunch boxes. Because been in the market, I'd seen people like brands like Lotte Choco Pie, which had become really big as a tiffin edition. And that is not at all, I mean an educated person shouldn't give such products to their kids. And I thought that here's a great opportunity to give you in a resealable bag, like chips which you can give to your kids, and they're guaranteed to get eaten. So that's where the idea started out from. So it's a kid friendly product. So anyone above the age of 3, they can safely consume it.
So Archit, the same question. I mean, all the legendary brands which you have, Percy, Swad, they have a lot of great association for adults like us. So some plan to going back towards kids, trying to focus on kids again.
Yes. So I think kids is so when it comes to Swad, so there we have two target audiences. One is again the ones who have a lot of nostalgia with the brand, where it is easier to connect because of the age groups. The second is our target with Swad, which is kids. So we are planning to launch flavors which are more kid friendly. So we are still working on a new launch that will have 2-in-1. So it's going to be called Swad 2-in-1, wherein we have say an imli and an orange, or a tom and imli. So kid friendly flavors, because spice is there in the current flavor. It is slightly spicy and it's on the spicier tone. So not every kid likes the flavor of spice in a candy. So that's where we are working, and we are also working simultaneously on a very innovative product. I think as you said kids, it's good that you pointed out. So we have launched Swad breakfast cereals, in which we have a product called fruit rings, because kids love fruit. So, and they are multicolored fruity rings. You can have them as a snack, or you can have them with milk. And I think that has been a very, very innovative product when it comes to our portfolio, and it has seen benchmarking results with a lot of multinational products. So that is where a current growth. We are developing newer packs. I think, as Rohan said, we are developing tiffin packs for that product. We are developing jar packs. We are developing refill packs, because the response has been very good. So they are multi-grain fruit rings, wherein you have oats, you have wheat, you have rice, you have corn. So these are the 4 ingredients we use, and they are multi-grain with different flavors. So say an orange flavored ring might come. So it's a mixed, colorful cereal to have. And that's where we are growing Swad in the kids category.
So one of our alum has asked this question. Muktash is specifically asking, you both together have so much of experience in FMCG. Would you like to highlight few golden rules? Suppose if somebody wants to enter into an FMCG space, maybe as a manager or maybe as an entrepreneur, few rules or possibly few key things which I should always remember. So we'll start with Rohan and then Archit, or maybe anyone, if you can start. Yeah.
I think, see, it depends on your temperament. Okay. If you want to, there are 2 kinds of FMCG organizations. I've worked for those startup kind of place, and I used to work better in a place like that. Briefly, I also worked with a mature organization, but it didn't work out for me. And I joined back my older organization within a month. So I think that if you're open to working like in a structured daily kind of sales update and kind of organization. The sales is the main role in FMCG, like sales and marketing. So I think it depends on your personality, so whether you want to work for a startup or you want to work in an established brand. So they are two very different within FMCG. They're two different, very different kind of places.
Great. Archit, few golden rules, if you have any.
I will try. I don't have set rules, but I think if anyone wants to enter FMCG or know more about this division, whether it's working for an FMCG or start some product on your own, I think one is definitely you should know that innovation always works. So you have to innovate in any category you enter. And second is, if you are getting into FMCG, I think in current age, you have to make data-driven decision, research about the category you want to enter, which business you want to start, what is it that the consumers are moving towards, and then enter. So a lot of data backing should support you in FMCG, because I think now you have a lot of data available. I think even I go on campus a lot of times to just look at the data with what I can extract from our library, or how is it that the consumer is moving, because IIM Indore has a lot of access to database. So I think, yeah, data-driven decisions and innovation, whether it's your own company or your product. So I think these two rules is what I would suggest in FMCG. I really don't know if I answered your question.
So Muktansh will tell whether he's happy with that answer. Okay, but there is another related questions which a lot of people want to ask. See, at the end of the day, being a part of a so-called an MBA system, education system, a lot of us always have this, concern about starting up own. Not everyone has that temperament, but a lot of people is asking the same thing. I mean, if you are an entrepreneur and if we ask you, there are few key learnings which you had in this journey of being an entrepreneur. Few things which you learned, which you thought was very different for you, and you would like to share it with us. We'll start maybe with Archit.
Sure. Few learnings as an entrepreneur. I think, yes. So I'll tell you how I, as an entrepreneur, make sure that we are growing and we are growing profitably as an organization. Is that whenever I am innovating in a category, there are three things that I look at, or I think in general, I think there are three ways how you can innovate as an entrepreneur. One is either your product competes on cost. Second is either your product competes on features, that is either a new ingredient or either a new trend in the market. And third is either you compete on design, and that's the use case, whether you're putting it in a packaging material or how are you trying to distinguish your product in this space. So I think innovation as an entrepreneur is the key, which I think I have learned works and lets you pull consumers from other brands to your own company or your product. And another, I think if you want to enter entrepreneurship or if you want to become an entrepreneur, there is a lot of things that you have to take care of. When you are working for someone, you have a set KRA and you have set responsibilities. But when it's your own business, I think aapko sab kuch karna hai. You have to know every bit of every aspect of business. I think that's where a B school has helped me a lot. I got exposed to a lot of subjects, to a lot of different viewpoints, made a lot of different opinions. And then after taking work experience is when I decided that I'm going to take care of the business and take it ahead. So I think that is my suggestion to people looking at entrepreneurship.
So focus on innovation, and please remember, it's your responsibility. Your business is like your child. You have to take care of all the things. Okay, yeah. Great. Rohan, sir.
So I think it is useful to, get a lot of experience, like Archit pointed out, of different parts, of a business. That is one part. And you might not know every part of the business, you might not understand one part, but finance you should definitely understand. And the parts which you don't understand or you're not good at, you can always get external help. I mean, there is no restriction. I mean, that's the whole thing about entrepreneurship, but whatever it is, at the end of the day, you got to be prepared to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty. Like, for example, after 10 years of working, I've made deliveries to stores and I have no shame about it. It's like part of the job. I've enjoyed it. It really helps me to connect, understand the actual problems that people face when they go for deliveries and things like that. So I don't think you should, if you have any, if you think it's going to be a cozy job and all of that, then it's definitely not. especially when you're starting up. After that, you can of course form a corporate entity to take care of it. But initially, when you start off on your own, it's not an easy job.
Okay. I think there are also other questions which are emerging up. But what I'll do is possibly first thing, I really like, to be very honest, it was a great event, and the way you have answered these questions. If I was in class, possibly Rohan and Archit would have got an A+. For me, it was also a great opportunity because not only you guys, but I could see so many of my students, although we now live in the world of Zoom where these windows are off. So it was really good to see them. But at this moment, I would like to pass on this baton to Pranav because he's also waiting possibly with us. And Pranav, please, the number of questions which we are getting is increasing. So you can take forward from this particular point. Pranav, are you there?
Hi. Awesome session. Thank you so much, guys. I think the session has been really lovely. We have one or two questions. If you don't mind, Archit and Rohan, I'm going to quickly bounce them off so that we can get them answered rather than leave them unanswered. So question for Archit from Karan Bhatt. Being an established brand, how do you evaluate acquisition opportunities?
Yes, so we have an in-house counsel who looks at evaluation opportunities, but at the moment, it's a very strategic call that goes in, and a lot of factors come into play when such a call has to be taken or whenever it has to be taken. But I wouldn't like to comment on it right now.
Perfect. And it just says 1+6, so I don't know the question audience member's name, but we'll give this to Rohan as it's more relevant for him. As we say, there are 4 P's in marketing mix: price, product, promotion, and place. How do you promote your brand when it comes to promoting anything new in the market? So since Rohan's done it the most recently, your thoughts, Rohan?
Focus was on sampling. So we had a lot of promoters within the Bombay market who were actually sampling our product to people, because the ultimate proof of the pudding, is whether it's tasty or not. People have a snack because it's tasty. It's as simple as that. You can write all you want about, the health benefits and all, but if it's not tasty, people aren't going to repeat a purchase. Now, so I think that is one place where we focused a lot initially. And second, I'd say that, just educating customers about the benefits. We have still, at the start of our journey in that. So digitally, I think there's a lot more to do, which we haven't embarked on so far, but we will pick that up. But it's ultimately about, getting people to try, sample your products. That's the main thing. And word of mouth definitely helps. So if any of you guys actually like our product, please give us a shout on Amazon or wherever, whichever other platform you buy it on.
Absolutely. And completely agree with you that anybody over here who's using any of our products by our entrepreneurs, please feel free to give them a shout out on social media and Amazon. It's always great to hear back from our community and do something back. One of the main reasons we started and sort of curated IIGNITE was so that we can spread the word of our alumni brands and our alumni products and services within the community. And I think we did a great job today. Session was beautifully moderated by Professor Motiani. Thank you for all your time this evening and the candid and heartfelt conversations, Rohan and Archit. I personally had a great time knowing about the Tubs and Swad businesses, and I look forward to track your journeys more intimately going forward. Before we end, I request you all to please register for the Beasts of Dalal Street event, which is a virtual stock trading event we're taking place next week from Monday to Friday during market hours. We have a very short video on it, and the registration link is also being shared in the chat now. Thank you once again. Thank you all for your time.